in these 4 upcoming preseason games that he's grown some levels of his game. It's just we have to see what that actually is from a scoring perspective, playmaking, because he is 26 plus years old, so he doesn't kind of fit our young core, but he has a chance to fight for a role in this team. So I really think we just have to see how these preseason games play out. And next Saturday is the first Nets preseason game against the Israeli team. So it'll be interesting to see if Martin gets a lot of minutes in that game to kind of show that he really is fighting for a roster spot. And we have seen some type of growth with his game, but we still have yet to see if that is true or not. But hearing it from his friend, it definitely makes you intrigued to see what Martin could bring to the table this upcoming preseason for sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to see something. That's my guy. If y'all don't know, Tyrese Martin's my guy on this team. A guy, Leaf Diggy in the building. His guy is Zaire, I believe, on this team. You know what I mean? But Leaf, John just sent me a clip of Etienne saying that Tyrese Martin is probably the hardest person to guard on the team. And he said that because they was in the G League together. But I just told John that Brian Lewis or Nets Daily also posted that Tyrese Martin is showing out in training camp. You know what I'm saying? What you think about that? If you're still there, bro.
Yeah, I'm here. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, that's all right. I mean, Tyrese Martin, I think he showed shooting ability. He showed a lot of ability to do some things offensively. Defensively, he is not it at all. He is I think I give him a D minus at best on defense, bro. I ain't gonna
Okay.
lie to you, but he showed things. He showed some things offensively. Between him, I think his comp on the team is probably Derek Whitehead because it's all about who could get their shot off on the highest level on consistently in this league. So I think it's really gonna come down to them two for that for that shooter spot. I don't know if it's a main spot, but it is a shooter spot nonetheless. So I think it's gonna come down to that.
All right, that's what's up. Yeah, it is. Because I thought we had enough wings, but it seems like he's doing some things that I don't, you know what I mean? I didn't think he might be capable of, even though that's my guy. But now, this is I'm going back to Kobe Buffkin before I get to Ben. Kobe Buffkin, I did find out that it's true that Juwan Howard did have a say in getting Kobe, and I found out that the Nets scouting team was already scouting Kobe Buffkin from when he got drafted. So with those two coming together, they said, let's go after Kobe Buffkin. So it took the scouting team and Juwan Howard to actually get Buffkin. And that's what I said about SGA. Like, OKC must have been scouting SGA before. And when they had the opportunity to grab him, that's what they did. And I think we just did the same thing with Kobe Buffkin. And like I said, they've been saying it's an underrated move. So now with Kobe knowing that the scouting team actually did scout him, and I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? I read that today. Somebody's article. Might have been Brian Lewis' article. Today that is what really happened. The scouting team and Juwan said, let's get him and get him on the Nets. And it made it easy for him to come over. What y'all think about that, though?
You know, it's so interesting. I actually did read a similar article where it said the Nets were interested in Kobe when he got drafted 15. That was a draft class where we got Whitehead, Wilson, and Clowney. So that's very interesting to know that the Nets did have a level of interest in him. And now, 2 years later, the Nets decided to take a Zaire Williams chance on him to rehab his value. I think it's a good opportunity. I mean, Kobe Buffkin, the defensive effort that he can give for his guard size, I think is definitely what's intriguing to Coach Jordy, because defensive intensity is definitely going to be something he wants a lot of these guys to embody on the team. So, okay, Kobe's got that to deal with. He could create his own shot. That's good. It's just the health factor, and it's interesting that he's going to be in direct competition with Whitehead, like we talked on a previous one of your shows, that both of them kind of the same level. The last 2 years, they haven't played a whole lot. What they have played mostly been in the G League. So now it's like they're both going head-to-head for one of these remaining spots on the team. I think Kobe definitely has an upper chance just because the Nets were interested in him on that draft class, so they chose Whitehead. And just for Whitehead, his contract isn't guaranteed till late October. So it's like for Whitehead, he has to be super healthy. He has to make an impact. He has to show he could do more than just knock down threes. And I think Buffkin is very hungry to show that he could be a potential backup on this team as far as the point guard goes, and he could be
Yeah,
potentially one of our bucket scorers. So I really think it's going to be a good competition. But for Kobe, I'm very intrigued to see if he can guarantee a spot and actually play more than 30 or 40 games this upcoming season with Brooklyn and try to validate some type of role. I'm very interested to see if Kobe can meet the challenge. So it'll be interested to see if he actually becomes another Zaire Williams positive project for Coach Jordy as well. So I hope he can actually show that. I'll be interested to see if he
yeah.
does validate a role for sure.
That will be interesting. Leaf, what you got? What you think about that?
I think that's very accurate. And you know, the thing that I'm noticing about this roster is that everybody got a comp. Everybody got competition in training camp.
Right.
Like almost everybody on this team got every competition in training camp, except for one player, Danny Wolf. Danny Wolf don't
Ooh.
got no competition in play. Who is his competition in training
You don't
camp?
think that?
True Timmy. That's about it. I know.
Drew
Nothing
didn't
to
Drew
the
didn't Drew
bigs.
Timmy get cut already?
Headband. Out the, yeah, Drew Tim.
Didn't Drew Timmy get cut already?
Not yet. Not yet. He's still on the team at this
Nah,
moment.
Okay, so he's on the team,
yeah, he's still on the team.
and Danny Wolf is a
Yeah,
draft
he's still
pick,
on the
and
team right now.
he already got a guaranteed rookie contract already. What does that tell you? That tells me that front office sees something. They look at Danny Wolf a little bit differently than they look at a lot of people on the team. I keep telling you, if in another year Danny Wolf is looking like the best player on this team, don't call me. Don't call my line.
No, that's interesting, Leaf, because I really think they're trying to set up Danny Wolf as far as just develop him slowly this first half of the season. I think they haven't spent time in the G League, and if Claxton has a really breakout season, like Coach Jordy's saying, it's going to be a career year for him. I think the Nets look to move Claxton, move Dayron to the starting lineup, and then have Danny be the backup center for the second half of the season. If they do it just like that, I think Danny Wolf's first season will be a success because we'll have experience in G League and in the pros. And then the second year, we really get to see what he's made of. I think that's why he doesn't have too many comps, like you just said, Leaf, because I think they're setting up Wolf to potentially be a future backup center or a starting backup, especially if they do move off of Claxton this year, because there are definitely a few teams, Pacers, Hornets, maybe Memphis, that teams that might have an interest in Claxton, even Boston as well. So if they do move Claxton, I think that will definitely be Sean and Joe playing their hand that potentially Wolf will be our future big. So we should see if it plays out like that. Because I think that's the only way you'll see Wolf get minutes. Right now, there is no minutes for him because you have Claxton and Dayron as your starter and backup. So we're gonna see if that changes.
Well, I think it'll only change as the season goes on, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of how who wants or who how what do we want out of our players going forward. The thing I'm noticing about the NBA is the guys that fill up the stat sheet, that have the capability to fill up the stat sheet, bro. Those players slowly get built around. Go look at how Joker was in 2016, and go look at how Luka was a top pick, obviously, but like I look at how Joker was built around in 2016 going forward. The thing is bro, like that's where the league is. If you can fill up the stat sheet, rebounds, assists, points, I think Danny Wolf favors that, bro. It's just all about how much development he gets and how much time he gets and how much the team actually front office believes in him and builds around him. I think they look at him and they see somebody that they would actually like to put pieces around in the future. That's what I
Right.
think, bro. Like I don't think you draft a talent like that and just let him just rot. You know
I,
what I'm
I,
saying? So I
I
mean, if he has an elite ability at 7 feet, bro, like I think we are looking at more clones, and I talked about it the other day. The Joker clones are on their way. So
no, that's
just look forward to it, bro. Like I ain't gonna just look out for it. If it happens, don't call me.
That's
Don't
interesting.
call
And,
me.
and somebody just put in the comment section that, Wolf's going to be a 4. We're going to keep Claxton. Listen, we know what Claxton's ceiling is. He's 26, going to be 27 the following year in his prime. We know what Claxton is. He's a lob threat. He can guard 1 through 4 on occasion, but he's offensively not gifted like that whatsoever. We saw last year, nothing's changed. And I think for the Nets, they know that having all these guards is an opportunity to boost up his value. Eventually move off and let Danny Wolf get those minutes. Wolf is more of a 5 than a 4. I think maybe Sangoon-esque type. Sabonis-ish. I think that's where Wolf's ceiling is. I don't see Wolf as a 4 because you look at the 4s right now, the Palos. Like, is Wolf athletic like that? No. Is he defensively a stout like that? No. Like, there are a lot of weaknesses with Wolf's speed as well. So it's like he profiles better as a 5 that can play make, because we've seen some good playmaking from him. I want to see way more of that. But I think he has a Sangoon Sabonis ceiling at the 5 than being at a 4, because the 4s are very athletic and Wolf is not that. So I would be surprised if he's our future 4 as opposed to a future 5 with more of a Claxton.
Yeah, Danny will be. I don't. He will be. He probably will be a 5 and a 4. I don't think he'll just be one.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll be both.
I mean, we talked about him potentially playing multiple positions, but I think they eventually want him to be at a set position. I know Sean Marks admitted on the podcast we're entering positionless basketball in Brooklyn. I totally understand that, but Wolf, he does have defensive limitations. You don't want him to get his ass kicked like a Karl-Anthony Towns gets his ass kicked almost every given night because, yes, he's a big player, but it's very easy to handle him on the defensive end. We don't want that for Wolf. We want Wolf to make an impact on both sides. But can he do it at the 4? I don't know about that. I think the 5 might be his advantage for his position where he plays, if we're being honest at the moment. Now, if he gets physically stronger over the next 2 years, that could definitely change the whole conversation to him being a combo big, I think.
Yeah. No, he probably will be a combo big. That's what I think Danny will be. I think I think it's could be
I
Magic
think
Willie.
Danny. I think the best way for Danny to go in today's NBA is obviously the 5, but I it's just all about how he feels out as a as doing 5-man type of stuff. Is he
Right.
if he becomes he becomes that rebounding presence, bro? Like if he becomes a great rebounding presence and a great rebounder, I think that will push his starting 5 position in the league a whole lot stronger than what it is now. Because I mean, as a 4, bro, like I think today's league is looking for more versatility, more guys that could run and jump out the gym. They looking for more to all right, yo. If you got Blake Griffin ability, you'll be there. If you got Sean Kemp ability, you'll be there. But like at the 5, they're looking for more of a skill set and a more of somebody that could fill up the 3 different columns and get everybody else involved, which I think Danny Wolf is gonna go. Honestly, bro, like I think in order for him to fit to hit his ceiling, whatever that may be, I think he has to become a dominant or defensive rebounder. Like we
I
talking
agree.
about
I
plus
agree.
12, plus 12 a game, plus 13 a game, and on the offensive boards having positioning, bro. Like because we be looking at a lot of people be looking at Denver games and be wondering how the hell damn Joker be getting 17 to 20 rebounds and he
Right.
can't jump over a sheet of paper. It's really all about positioning. It's the same thing that Zach Randolph used to do. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I mean, if he can fill out to that, and his basketball ability is already like, and IQ is already there at 7 feet, and having the ability to find players and be a distributor. And if that advances well, and his ability to play in sets and screen and roll and 5-4 action, I think he'll be that. I think he'll get there, bro. Like if in another year, bro, everybody looking for to build around Danny Wolf, don't say Leaf told you so.
That would be something. I would be something for
Don't say
sure.
Leaf told you so, bro. Like because, hey, how we know that Sean Marks ain't looking at Danny Wolf and he don't see himself and he don't see what he could have been in him.
Yo.
Nah, Sharma was never close to that type of
No,
performance.
Sean
Yeah.
Marks was never close to that. But at the same time, bro, like Sean Marks would like to think that in today's NBA, bro, like if he looking at a visual of what he if he looking at himself in the mirror every time he see Danny Wolf 20 years ago and thinking, hey, what if I would have had some passing and rebound ability at that level? damn, this might be the dude out. Damn, this might be my twin right here. How we know that?
We'll leave that conversation for another time.
Yeah,
And then,
nah, like but the real answer to how we gonna do this season is that the real answer is that we don't know. We don't know
Yeah,
how the development process is gonna go, bro. When we don't know who could break out and take control of this team, bro. Everybody might think it's Yegor. I think Yegor is gonna be a piece. At best, he could be a number 3, a good number 4 to like a successful team. But
that's what I
Danny Wolf,
said. Yeah,
but
about
if we
Jaeger.
look, but if we looking at in terms of the numbers and the way that the game is played analytically today, in terms of a stat sheet, Danny Wolf is the only player in terms of archetype that could fill up a stat sheet on this team.
That's very interesting. And he's the older. Is interesting about him and Ben Seraff. Ben Seraff has more
I
experience than the
think Danny
guys that
Wolf
were
is
drafted.
21.
But yeah, but Danny Wolf is the older guy on the team. So that's interesting that Seraff and Wolf are getting different praise from a lot of people from what I've been hearing, Seraff and Wolf. And they both each have experience more so than the other 3 guys we drafted. So it'll be interesting to see who really does break out from the Flatbush Five. I do hope each one of them, even Ben Seraff, much as I'm very down on Seraff, is I don't know why we have all these guards and then waste that pick on him. But if he could prove us wrong and show us something, so I know Ice wants to talk about him, like that's good for the Nets. I mean, really, our future right now is tied into how these Flatbush Five perform. Each and every one of them have to give this team something. And if you get that franchise guy in next year's draft, then you have a core 6. Having a core 6 and having all this cap space flexibility then makes the Nets a very dangerous team because if you could get a star on a very affordable contract, even though it is expensive, this team could really run the gauntlet in the
Yeah,
East.
yeah.
But
Listen,
these guys have to work out though in their own right. They do.
yeah, you absolutely right, John. But staying to that point, bro, if all 5 of these players that we just picked work out in terms of a set role on the team,
Mm-hmm.
that means that the other players after that, the number 6, the number 7, the number 8, and the number 9, because we all like to agree that we in today's NBA you got to at least run 1 through 9 to be respectable, and you got to be healthy. These dudes got to be superior athletes, because let's face it, bro. Like Yegor is not that. Danny Wolf is not that, even though he's 7 feet. Ben Seraff is okay. Drake Powell is the best athlete that we drafted. And Nolan Trayor has an NBA ability, but we don't look at him as a guy that could be a glue guy and a do it all type of guy. We don't look at him the way the Pacers look at Neesmith and Ben Matherin and those athletic specimens, the guys that could be, on the team and that could help. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the Indiana Pacers somehow got Obi Toppin to be a factor, bro, I don't see what's stopping Jordy Fernandez, stopping Jordy Fernandez to turn in Danny Wolf or Drake Powell into a considerable starting rotational player in this league. I just
No,
don't see. I just don't know.
it's valid, and the great thing we know about Jordy is he's taking conditioning super seriously with the guys. You saw with Clowney, even Dayron. Like I think in 2-3 years, I think 4 or 5 of these guys will be very well conditioned as far as strengthening and muscle goes. Especially with Yegor, he even admitted my first year is going to be spent getting stronger. So we see a physical change in Yegor from now till next summer. You start seeing those little ebbs and flows. Same with even Drake Powell, Nolan Trayor. If he could add a little muscle to his little skinny frame, definitely makes his speed even stronger as far as packing a punch goes. So I think the conditioning aspect of our coaching staff will play a huge factor in these 5 guys, especially Danny Wolf, because Wolf is slow right now. If he can become a stronger rebounder, like you said, defense improves, even though he might not be super quicker than what he is right now, you will see those ebbs and flows too, just like we talk about how with Joker with the Nuggets. Yes, the guy is not in physical condition, but he knows how to impact every aspect of the game just with his physical form. So we're to see if Danny Wolf follows a similar platform for himself. But Ice, I know you want to ask us about Ben Seraff, so let's get into that, man.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. My dog going on for a second. Hold up. But no, I was gonna say Danny got something to prove. Drew Timmy in training camp. I haven't heard no news about Drew Timmy in training camp. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Seraff. Right? Let's get to Seraff right now because I ain't got too much to talk about. You know what I'm saying? But other than Tyrese doing good in training camp, Jordy said, I don't know, I know y'all probably mentioned it on Breezy that these point guards, rookies, will be getting thrown into the fire this year. So Saraf, I into the fire. I think Saraf is playing. I said I thought Saraf was going to the G, and Saraf has been showing out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm probably wrong about Saraf going down to the G. I thought he needed more work, but from what Jordy's saying, if they get thrown into the fire, that means they playing. You know what I'm saying? All three of them, all three. He said all three point guards. He didn't say nothing about Danny and Drake Powell. But he said these 3 point guards are getting thrown into the fire this year. So that's surprising to me that all three of them is going to be playing this year. What y'all think about that?
I want to see it when I believe it. And I'm like, Jordy, where were these words 9 months ago? Like, you wait till the end of the season to throw the young guys into the fire. I want to see it from game one against those Hornets. I want to see Yeager on the starting lineup. I want to see Nolan and I guess Saraf play minutes too. Like, if you're going to say that you trust them, prove it. Like, I know Jordy wants these guys to develop the right way and want them to earn those minutes, but you got to let them learn from their mistakes. It's not going to be a perfect year whatsoever. There's going to be so many bad mistakes on this team, but that's how you get better as a player individually and as a team. So I hope he actually means that. And I'm glad he clarified that Yegor Dioman is a point guard. I know some people were going crazy the day after he got drafted. We said, I'm not a point guard. And they want to turn him into like a wing, a guard or something like that. The guy is 6'8", great passing vision. Like he's definitely is one of our main point guards and maybe potentially one of our future lead point guards. And I'm fine if they want to turn him into like a wing as well, but you don't just want Yegor staying in the court and shooting threes like Duncan Robinson. That's not what you want out of your lottery pick. So I'm glad that he clarified Yegor is a point guard. If you want to make him a wing too as he gets stronger physically, fine. He becomes even more of a threat for us as our lottery pick. So I'm just glad there's clarity there. But the Saraf thing is super interesting because there were some rumors that if Yegor is not a go during training camp, preseason, maybe even a little bit start the season, there's a chance they might throw Saraf in our starting unit. You know what? If this is to guarantee us getting a top pick, do it because I think we'll have a 1-9 record or something like that if you have Saraf as your lead point guard. Not to crap on him, but if that's what you want to do, I'm fine for it because our goal is to secure the best lottery odds. And if you want to see if Saraf really can give you something, go for it. But I am a little surprised that they would give Saraf that gig over Traore, who's very speedy, who looks like he can create his own shot. He just needs to make his jump shot a little more consistent, that he's not getting that nod yet. But I guess they really do trust Saraf's experience in Euro. Like that does play a factor. And I did see some clips of him making those good passes. It's just his offensive game is something that leaves a lot left to be desired. And I don't think that that will change the outcome of where we're trying to go if he is your starting point guard. But I thought that was very interesting that Saraf is getting all this trust. And if he could prove me wrong and develop a solid offensive game this year, then hey, I'm going to have to take back some of the stuff I said about Saraf. But I really think it's interesting that Nolan is not getting the praise that he should be that starting guy over him. That's interesting to me.
Yeah, you still there? What you got, Leaf, on that?
Pretty much the same, but just a little bit differently. I think that I'm not sure what the plan is to finish this year, but in terms of these picks, I look at Yegor and I was a little bit wrong, bro. I gotta add Yegor to the mix that I added Danny Wolf to because in terms of player archetype, in terms of a skill set, and in terms of guys that could potentially fill up the box score and fill up a stat sheet, Yegor and Danny Wolf, they have that ability. It's all gonna depend on how much PT they get and how well they develop in terms of and systematically or pretty much on their own and how the game how they could get the game to play at their level, you know what I'm saying, or play the game at a high level and make things work for them, or how the coaching staff or how everything around them can make everything work for them, you know what I'm saying, because I truly believe that you don't draft a 6'9" dude with that passing ability and a 7-foot dude with that passing ability, bro, and neither one of them don't work out. That has to do with the development team, and that has to
Right.
do with the coaching staff, bro. I don't know if I could like blaming it on blaming the shit on our GM is one thing, but ultimately the coaching staff and the PT and the playing system, bro, like and the system that's around them has to work because these dudes are still gonna be in the league if they end up on Indiana. If they pick by Indiana and then they go off, then what? Then you can't even blame. Then at the end of the day, Sean Marks drafted them at the end of the
Yep.
day. You know what I'm saying? So if they work out somewhere else, we got to remember that Sean Marks drafted them. They just didn't work out for us because the training staff or the development staff wasn't giving them the PT, or wasn't doing this and that and the third or whatever. The fact of the matter is that I strongly believe that when you get 5 first-round picks, you're throwing more shit at the wall than believing you, and something has got to stick. It's all
Right.
about how it's developed. Maybe the guy that we looking for. Maybe the number one option is picked already, bro. We just ain't develop him yet. Who
I'm
knows,
convinced.
bro?
That's such a great point, and I think this really is for Sean Marks to show that you mean what you say. On the podcast, he meant talk to the guy saying, "Hey, I want sustainable success for his team." It's been 10 years. He has said that same phrase over and over again. We have never once had a team that's lasted more than 2 to 3 years. This core, some of these guys got to be here at least for the next 4 to 5 to 6 years at least to show that they can develop. And winning those accolade awards, All NBA, Rookie of the Year, which is probably not possible at this moment, defensive player, like those awards are all signs of ultimate development. And you want these Brooklyn Net guys that we drafted to be in those conversations because it shows they are growing the games. They're not just being passed around like blunts to get superstar talent on this team to desperately get us out of a crappy situation. It's going to take a mix of both the development and using your assets to go get a star piece and some good upgrade bench pieces. It's going to take that mix to pull it all together. The only problems with Sean and Joe, they've always gone one way over the other, which is the established talent route. Under this new CBA, you can't do that unless you want to financially gamble all your cap space away for one or two guys to carry the burden, which it's not possible right now. So I hope these 5 guys, at least 3 out of 5, are long-term part of our future because there's no telling if all 5 these guys will make it through. But 3 out of 5, I'd be fine with. But this draft, the next year's draft, plus, after that, that's when the Nets got to start going for it. And Sean Marks said he's feeling like he's at that point where he wants to hit that go button again. And he said stars do want to come to Brooklyn again. So, but you got to let these guys develop, though. They got to be a part of the solution, not just a part of getting the solution. That's what has got to change this time around if you want to hit sustainable success. So I'm done with Sean Marks preaching the BS. You got to show it now. Or else, what are we talking about?
Yeah. So then
I mean, I look at it like this, bro. We got to remember Sean Marks when she showed up in 2016. Chase Budinger was on this roster. You know what I'm saying? So I like the whole stars want to come here and they've always shot for a star. Like we can say that, but the reality is that the stars chose us one time, and that was Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. They chose us one time, so I can't really say that's a real tracker record. It is, bro, but the only reason why we're saying it's a tracker record because it didn't work. The real issue is that, bro, like when they got here, they didn't bit that like that when they got here from 2016 to 2019, they didn't do anything because they ain't had no wiggle room because Billy King done left them with nothing. He left us with nothing, bro. Like he traded all that shit away because of Prokhorov, bro, and they left it with nothing, bro. They had to fill up seats. I told you about this in the last episode. When we got here in 2012, they had to make sure to fill up seats. Hence Joe Johnson. Hence Darren Williams. Hence Kevin Garnett. Hence Paul Pierce. Hence Brooke Lopez. You had to have a cute looking lineup with some money on it, and that was definitely going to make the playoffs, which we did in the first 3 years when we got here. Got to Brooklyn, but we paid for it in the KG trade, in the KG and Paul Pierce trade. And that got another team a championship. So then we had to rebuild in 2016 and 2019. And then here comes Kevin Durant and Kyrie said, you know what? Let's go over here. But this new CBA doesn't. But the thing about this new CBA is that people got to understand the player movement in terms of I don't like where I'm at anymore, bro. It's really notice it's less and less players year
Yep.
after year
Yep.
doing that shit. It's less and less players after every year. So if Donovan Mitchell is staying, if it's on Cleveland in the next couple of years, don't be surprised. If Kevin Durant is out of the league the next couple of years, don't be surprised. If Devin Booker is still on the Suns in the next couple of years, don't be surprised. This CBA helps you keep your drafted talent
Right.
realistically. You know what I'm saying? Like the only way you don't keep it is if you go through a situation that Cam Thomas went through with the front office. Cause cause I guarantee you, bro, the Cam Thomas lifers is gonna talk about he don't got no comp. He does have comp. His comp is the front office. He making $6 million. That's his comp.
Right,
So
right. And
realistically, bro, I look at these draft picks, bro, as like, yo, you got 5 pieces of glue you threw at the wall, and one of them have the potential. Two of them really have the potential of like sticking and gluing to the wall. Jago and Danny Wolf, they have the player archetypes and the skill set to fill up the stat sheet the way that a stat sheet is filled up in today's NBA. And if they turn out to be something for this team or something for anybody else in the league, don't say that Leaf told you so. Don't come back to me saying I'm right.
gotta put that on a
Cause I'm not
t-shirt.
talking
Don't say
about
Lee told you
I'm not
so.
talking about Zach Edey anymore. I'm not talking about Kai Jones anymore. I'm talking about players on our team because I like the archetypes of the players that we actually drafted.
Right.
Drake Powell is a good archetype. He may not be the name that you wanted, but he's a good archetype. Danny Wolf and Jaeger are good archetypes. He might not be the names that you wanted, but they good archetypes of players and they got good skill sets. Do not be surprised if they work out this year or the next year or beyond. Don't. I
Right.
got to get back to work. I'm going to holler at y'all.
All
Have
right.
a good one, Leaf.
Yeah, nah. Sarah. So I want to get back to Rock Sarah because I didn't really say too much. But
Mhm.
it's not surprising, and it is surprising that he's showing out this much. You know what I'm saying? I know he can score, and I didn't like his game. I still don't like his game, but I knew, you know what I'm saying? I knew he could play, you know what I'm saying? And it was mentioned on another video I was watching, and I think y'all mentioned it on Breezy's how they go Breezy talking about Breezy right there, he on the pull up. You know what I mean? Speaking about Breezy right there, he on the pull up.
Breezy.
I mean, just
What up,
mention your
y'all?
name, you pull up, bro. Well, yo, you know what I'm saying?
They
But
say you gonna live a long time when that happen, you know?
yeah,
I'm trying to live a long time, man. Go to many more practice in the parks, man.
right, facts, yo. So, the age factor of Ben Sarah playing with older guys, older players in the league, they said that helped. That probably helped his development so much, and now being in the NBA, it's going to take some time to get used to the NBA speed and stuff like that. But like I said, him showing out right now, and Jordy talking about him, MPJ talking about him, his name seems to be the one that's ringing everybody's bell right now. You know what I mean? Like Saraf out here dropping dimes, he's doing things, act professional. You know what I'm saying? He seems like he's different. You know what I'm saying? And again, Nets fans might have been sleeping on him, saying like, bro, why did we draft him? Because I said, why did we draft him? But
Right.
now his name is, you know what I'm saying? His name is like the highest name right now being talked about as far as training camp, as far as whatever they're practicing. He seems to be one of them guys that just doing things that we didn't expect him to do, even though I know he could hoop. And I thought he was gonna go to the G, but he's proven that he's doing something more than we thought right now. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
that's actually good because he about to prove somebody wrong. You know what I'm saying? That's what it seemed like. I don't know if he will, but that's what it seemed like. What you think about
Nah,
that?
I respect it. I think that a lot of fans gonna, be heavy on their opinions because that's what you do in the off season. It's a lot of critiquing, a lot of, you know what I mean. Ultimately, we just trying to get by like Tyler Quali, man. We just trying to get to next season. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to. And the reason it's not that I never liked Ben Sharaf Ice. It was more like we got 2 point guards already. Why we need a third? You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? It was just more of that the fact of the matter. Now I feel like, they say Diego, he might not be healthy at the beginning of the season. Shit, Ben Saraf, you up. If they really stick to that next man up mentality, then yeah, give Ben Saraf all of the praise that he deserved. If he deserved to get minutes, if he played well in training camp, and that leads to him getting minutes in the preseason, and that leads to him getting, up in the rotation instead of being, I don't know, maybe the eighth man, he become the seventh man, maybe the sixth man. I don't know. I'm just saying that to say, if he's a Nets player, I'm going to back him unless he's, you know. motherfucking Timothy Loavo or some shit like that. You know what I mean? And o- other than that, y'all got it. I'm saying y'all know I'm big optimism.
Yeah, nah, facts. Because that's surprising to me, right? Me saying that he's gonna go down to the G, and then Jordy saying like now all the rookie point guards is going to the fire. They getting thrown into the fire early. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm still shocked that he's actually going to keep Saraf up here. So I don't know about Drake Howard, don't know about Danny how he plans to work that out because I figured three of them was going to go to the G, and right now three of them is staying in the NBA. You know what I mean? So I don't know if the other two is going to go in the G, and that's why I pulled up to see how fans think. I know, yeah. Uh, uh, uh Brad just mentioned that Trayor has the same experience playing with grown people overseas, and Trayor does have that experience. I'm just saying for right now, no one's talking about Trayor as much as Ben, right? And Diego, they
Yeah.
talking about Diego too, being impressive right now. Trayor is the one that I haven't heard too much about. Have y'all heard anything about Trayor right now?
None too crazy. I think the biggest thing is Traor's defense is not like his biggest strength whatsoever. He's great at speed, great at distributing the ball. He's scoring, definitely needs a little more work, but it's definitely one of his main attributes. It's really the defense effort. And I think the best thing Breezy brought up Ben Saraff is defensively, if he can show you could guard 1 through 3 at least and give you a tough defensive presence on a given night, it kind of makes up for Saraff's offensive flaws. We know his mid-range shot needs a lot of work. He was taking threes in practice. It did not look like he's comfortable doing that. So I just think his offense definitely needs so much work. But if they want to start him and guarantee a top pick, I'm fine for it. I just think they're worried a bit about Nolan's defensive effort because Nolan has the speed, but he doesn't have the physicality that you would hope for in a certain point guard pedigree. And I think that's why they're a little more anxious on not giving him the full nod. I think they like Nolan. I think they might want him as our sixth man to start out. But I think Saraf and Yegor, they're at the top of the totem pole as far as getting potential starting opportunities. And this is the good that we're having 3 guards. If an injury did happen to Yegor, which is unfortunate, now, like Breezy said, next man up. So this kind of works to our favor. And if the Nets do want to make a big move in the future, I think one of these 3 guards will go in a trade package. So it's moving pieces you have with all these point guards. But I think that's why Sean did what he did with that, because it helps you in an emergency injury situation and it gives you potential moving piece in the following year. But I really think it's Nolan's defensive effort is what they're kind of worried about. That's why I think Saraf has a bit of the inside track because of his defense. But if that's what he's going to use to try to cover up his offensive weaknesses, okay. But Saraf definitely needs a lot of work. But I understand why he's getting the nod right now over Nolan.
Yeah, yeah. So I can say I was finally wrong about something. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
I was finally wrong about something, right? You know what I'm saying? Whoa,
Breaking
shocking,
news.
man. Iceman has been wrong about something. No,
Oh, man.
Man, you said that when Leaf left, bro.
right, right, yo. I'm finally wrong about something, but nah, it's that's impressive to me. You know what I'm saying? Being
Right.
the guy that most Nets fans didn't understand the pick, and we still don't understand the pick because, like Bree said, having 3 guards, 4 guards in one draft is wild, crazy. But then for the last pick to stand out, you know what I mean? The last guard to stand out a lot says something different about the scouting. And Breeze, to run
Yeah.
it back a little bit, Kobe Buckin, I read in the article Brian Lewis put out, I believe, it said that the net scouting team had actually scout Kobe Buckin before. And Jawan Howard did have a say, you know what I'm saying, in the matter, and the scouting team did too. So the scouting team and Jawan Howard actually wanted Buffkin on the team, you know what I'm saying? So that's a fact. Not only Jawan, but the scouting team. So they had eyes on Buffkin before when he got drafted. They didn't get him. So now that he was available, they went and got him. You know what I'm saying? What you think
Yeah.
about that, Breeze?
I think that, I'm hearing a lot of rumbling about Javon Howard and how he's impacting the decision making with the coaching staff. I think he's getting a strong buzz. He was even out there signing autographs, and I think you know, he been working with Clax on his jumper. You know what I mean? Jawan Howard was there practicing the Paul. Clax was on the court with him. I think that's part of the reason why Noah Clowney bulked up. I think Jawan Howard is a X factor on the coaching staff when it comes to player development and the way Claxton, Noah Clowney, whatever they did in the offseason, I would probably contribute it to, Juwan Howard. I mean, just because of who he was as an NBA player. Not only that, he was also a good head coach in college. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that, hats off to him because, I think he has a lot of say with that coaching staff. And I think that he is going to be a voice that Jordy Fernandez, you know what I'm saying, resonates with. Jordy Fernandez is, you know what I mean? He got an experience. Assistant head coach in a Juwan Howard. And I think that could be like a 1-2 punch for real. Like obviously it's Jordy Fernandez team and he's the head coach. The assistant coach is Juwan Howard, yeah. But Juwan Howard, when you talk about player development, he's getting players from high school to college to compete. Then you
Right.
put him in the NBA, and the NBA is drafting players in their rookie year in college. He's a integral piece of what the Brooklyn Nets are doing when it comes down to player development. And if he's seen something in Kobe, I believe it.
Right.
I think Kobe is a backup plan, but with Diego getting hurt, he might, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, to John's point, it's easy to put one of these guys in the trade package, contingent on who plays well. You're
Right.
gonna see who quote unquote fits in the system, and if they do, if they're a quote unquote Jordy Fernandez kind of player, bro, I wouldn't be surprised if Ben Saran and Nolan Troy get in the trade package because Kobe Buffkin playing well, him and Diego, or the other way around, or maybe Kobe and Nolan, and then it's Diego and Ben Saran the 1 and 2. Who knows? But I know as a Nets fan, I'm excited to see it. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of basketball. I feel like I'm waiting forever at this moment. I mean,
Yeah, facts.
And it'll be interesting to see if what more influence Juwan Howard has, because I think with Clowney's development, if he played a huge hand in that, I'm definitely very excited to see what Clowney could do this year. Because if Howard is helping a big like Clowney get more acclimated just with physicality, being more of a better rebounder, better scorer all around, like that to me is a great influence. And I think Juwan Howard's like the number 2 or number 3 to Jordy. I know Steve Hetzel, a lot of people look at him as the number 2, but Juwan Howard, I think he definitely is making his mark there. I wish he was here when we had Claxton a few years earlier, because I think he definitely could have helped Claxton evolve his skill set. I feel like Juwan Howard came at kind of like the wrong time where Claxton's hit that ceiling. But Jordy says Claxton's destined for a breakout season this year, so we'll see if Howard had some influence there. But I definitely think Juwan's going to have huge influence with Clowney going forward and Danny Wolf especially. I can't wait to see what Howard does with Wolf in improving aspects of his game as well. So having Howard's championship experience as being a former big man definitely will help play a factor in how we're trying to find our future starting big of the future for sure.
Right. So on that, because that's what I wanted to talk about next. Claps said that the like I said, the epidural he had back, the back pain he had last year, he wasn't playing as well. Bigger role this year for Clax. Expect him to be healthy. Like I don't know what to expect from him. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if his numbers is gonna go up a little bit. I don't know if he's gonna have the ball in his hands a lot more. I don't know if he's going, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what they're gonna do with Clax this year. That'd be interesting to see if he does play different, and it was the back bothering him last year, and fans was getting on him from not playing as well and not, you know what I'm saying, not putting up numbers they thought he should put up. That'd be different, you know what I'm saying? And that'll help with the fans, you know what I'm saying? Even though Clax is a slim body, not a big body, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That'll help the fans if he score a little bit more, because they want to see scoring from Clax. I don't think Clax is a scorer, but they want to see scoring from Clax. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we just need Claxton to be mature and professional. And I'm glad that on media day, Jordy and some of the other guys just said with Claxton, listen, the tantrum stuff you got to leave in the past. I mean, Claxton even said, I'm a father now. I'm now responsible for my family and for my kid. Like he definitely, I think he did really have a deep dive this summer, just going, hey, I need to think about elevating my future, being a better leader all around, being a better player. And we just have to see it. Like, they could say this guy's gonna have a breakout year. Last year they would call him Sabonis. It's just Claxton just needs to play a balanced game. We know he's not going to shoot threes, mid ranges anytime soon. But now you have all these guards. He realistically should be a third or fourth best scorer as far as the lobs goes. Defensively, definitely have to be the anchor again because we want to see him get his value up just in case we are thinking about the possibility of moving away from him. And I think for Claxton, he already got paid. It's just you just got to be a top vet for this team and leave the tantrums in the past. And I really hope he does because I feel like that soured the team last year. I know people looking at the back issue ice, but the Simmons and MPJ back issues were way different what Claxton was doing because he did play over 60 games. And I just felt like at times his mentality was not in it. Like he would cause these ticky-tacky foul calls on himself or want to throw a cushion, close on people. Just felt like he was unhappy because he thought they were going to compete or something. Even Claxton said, when I re-signed with the Nets, I want to be competing for a title. And we were going, 20 steps backwards to rebuild. It just felt like Claxton was not in lockstep with that. But I think now the Nets have an understanding, based on who they drafted, especially with Wolf, that Claxton is probably more expendable than they want to say to him right now. They want him to be the best version of himself. But I think if he does become that best version, they're looking to move off him because he's going to be 27 next year, entering his prime. And I just feel like the Nets want a more agile center that could do way more, especially on offense. So if Claxton could elevate his game this year and we do trade him for a decent return, everybody wins there. I just don't see us winning, though, with Claxton as he gets older in the NBA. It just doesn't seem like that's a good long-term fit for us at this point.
See, to me, it's different. It depends on how the team is built. Claxton's still
Mm-hmm.
a good player, but it all depends. You know what I'm saying? Who's the power forward? Does he have help? Because he always going to need help. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Can't hold his own too much, but at times he could. You know what I'm saying? He's a good rim runner, a good defender, depending on who's on the side. But he is a shot blocker. So I think it all depends, and I think it all depends on his backup as well. You know what I mean? If you have day one, if you get somebody like Danny who finally play some defense and get himself together, you know what I'm saying? It all depends on the team because I don't think Claxton's bad, but I do understand he's not going to man the paint. You know what I'm saying? He's not going. That's not him. He's still, I forget what he weighed, but it's still like 235.
Yeah, something like that. He's never really bulked up in that area.
He's
Clowney's added 24 pounds in 3 years, which is
right.
insane.
Right, and those back issues. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why starting Clowney with Claxton even elevates Claxton's value more because Clowney and Claxton in their little spurt in that first season when Clowney came up, they were rebounding well. They were actually out rebounding a lot of teams. Like there is some good value there in having two bigs on the court together, and we also preserve MPJ. I think playing with the power forward is an illogical move, just given how open he was about his back issues, the preparation. Don't want him to get his ass busted by Apollo. Like that just would be worrisome for his career. So moving him to the three preserves his health, and we also elevating Claxton's value with having Clowney. It looks like he's destined to be a breakout forward for us. And even I think Coach Shorty said this guy could be a really great two-way player potentially. So having a lineup of Yegor, Cam, MPJ, Clowney, Claxton, I think that's a great way to start the season because we're elevating Claxton's value, preserving MPJ's health, and letting Clowney really show what he can do. Ice, that's how you accomplish 3 goals right there off the bat. I just think that would make way more logical sense than doing an MPJ, Zaire, Claxton front court because realistically, what is that stopping? Nobody really, and you're not letting Clowney get a chance to show that he's more than just the muscle adjustment that he made for himself this summer.
Yeah, facts. So with that, Clowney, yeah, they said, Clowney added on the muscle. I seen Clowney work out. I know we talked about that. But, you know what I'm saying? That's another thing. Like, there's some unknowns with Clowney. We know he can shoot. There's some unknowns with Clax. Like JP said, back injuries could always come back. They certainly can. They certainly can come back. You know what I mean? That's a fact. It don't take too much for a back to be acting up like that, especially like, you know what I'm saying, Claxton. But Clowney, yeah, adding on weight, still can move, still bulky, learning how to use his shoulder and all that. I seen it in the Chris Johnson workouts. You know what I'm saying? Interesting. But to the point where like I said 22 wins, but I don't know. Like it seems like we do have good players on this team. I just don't know how good the team will be as a collective. You know what I mean? Terrence Mann is a good player. He's decent. You know what I'm saying? Claxton's a good player. MPJ is a good player. Cam Thomas is a good player. Like our point guard is, you know what I'm saying? A rookie. So out of that, you know what I'm saying? You got one rookie point guard and four veterans, basically. You know what I'm saying? Four guys that played um basically together. Zaire is a good player. So they got some type of chemistry, but like the new guys don't have any chemistry. So it's
Right.
interesting to see. And they still got a cut players. Like I that right now is puzzling. You know what I mean? You got Fanbo right there, Jay Wills and Tyrese, and you still got Drew Timmy. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I don't know. What y'all think about that?
Well, the interesting thing is we do have the youngest roster in NBA history, so like that definitely will play a huge factor in whatever the win total is. If Jordy really can get this team to turn into something when we don't know what it could be and reach somehow 20 wins, again, Jordy's out for expectations. But if you want to line up a perfect pick, guaranteeing yourself being a bottom three team somehow and approaching a 20-win threshold would be interesting. I just don't know if that would be in our best interest. But I will say this: I think we have a lot of youth to work with, which is not a bad thing. It definitely helps you prioritize the future. It's just the MPJ Cam Thomas situation is so interesting because realistically, both their futures don't look long term in Brooklyn. MPJ, the back issue, like NBA media was crazy. They said this guy's going to be a scoring champion. This guy has to put a lot of preparation just to be on the court ice. And you've told us about your history with back issues. Like this guy is not going to play, I don't think, any back to backs this year. And realistically, if we're going to trade MPJ's 40 mil expiring for some big upgrade piece, you got to get this guy through 82 games. Like if he can somehow play 50 or 60 games and still be healthy, I think that's a win for us. But definitely he should not be overburdened minutes wise if his back is that much of an issue. And Cam Thomas, this month of November is huge for him because December 15 is when a lot of these free agents can be trade eligible. So if Cam has a great November, I would not be surprised if some teams who are dealing with some bad injuries right now call Sean Marks about that. So if Cam and MPJ don't play like huge games, if one of them is dealt and the other comes up with an injury bug, the rest of his team offensively will not be able to beat a lot of good teams, and that should line up the Nets very well in the lottery. Now, if Jordy can somehow get these few experienced pieces to help these young guys gain confidence, then I wouldn't say 20 wins is impossible. Does it make sense, though, if we were trying to go in the lottery and make bigger moves potentially next summer? That's what Jordy has to balance this year, and I hope we figure out the balance, but you really have to hit that fine tune, or else this could again be a potential underwhelming draft for the Brooklyn Nets when it can't be. We need our franchise guy, and just winning 20 games because we want to do it for culture, that's not really going to make a lot of people happy at the end of the day. But at the same time, Jordy is trying to show that winning can mean something, no matter who you got. As long as you play with grit and intensity, you have a shooter's chance against anybody on any given night. But I think it really is tied into if Cam and MPJ are going to be here the whole season, and if one of them is going to deal with an injury bump here or there. That really is what's going to define whatever win total we have this season, Ice.
Yeah, that is.
I got a question, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there what is the possibility that we finish in the play in and we still get a top three pick?
It's a low
It's not
possibility.
impossible, but does it make sense for us? I mean, is the NBA going to give us the same good luck that they gave to Dallas? That we don't know how that went. I don't know if we're that lucky. I don't think Sean and Joe have the NBA connections that they claim to do. If we're being honest, Leaf.
Yeah,
Oh,
not
okay. All right. So basically, if this team is winning less than 20 games or more than 55 games, like what would you rather? Like just hypothetically. I'm not even talking about what we can do or what you see this roster doing or what you just hypothetically. The way this roster is shaped out and the way the archetypes are shaped out, if a good amount of these players reach their height in this year, if somehow some way we win over 55 games, or we if we you impressed with us winning over 55 games, or you would rather stick to us winning under 20 games?
I mean, if we're in the twilight zone, okay, but we're in reality. That's just not
I
possible.
mean,
And
no, no, no. I'm just talking hypotheticals, bro. I'm
no,
like
no,
because we don't know.
hypothetically, listen, if they somehow do that, then the Nets are ahead of schedule, and these young guys should get a superstar want to come knocking on our door because superstars want depth. Like you were saying, Leaf, our bench needs to be as great as whoever is going to be in the starting unit. And right now we have a lot of guys competing for those important bench roles. So if these guys and the young guys we drafted hope for expectations that, hey, we're way ahead of schedule, but Sean Marks clarified he's looking to make a big move as soon as next summer after that 2026 lottery where the Nets won't have any control of their picks going forward. So if these guys do prioritize somewhat overperform expectations again and win more than 20 games, it's definitely going to make Sean Marks' case for, hey, I could go get another superstar because these guys don't want to lose anymore. But at the same time, you do not want to screw your chance of getting a potential franchise guy. I mean, Leaf, there are at least 5 or 6 guys in this draft that could each potentially be a number one pick, but they're not going to be a number one pick. That's the fun, enticing thing. But for the Nets, you got to at least get top 5 next year. Anything less than that, if you have 6 odds again, you get screwed with the 8th or 9th pick. It's not going to make anybody happy. That means you're just going to have to go get a star and hope that they're happy being the number one guy on a team full of supporting characters. You at least need a top 2 on this team, and hopefully that second guy can be in who you draft. Like we said, Leaf, it takes a bit of both to win this time around in the CBA, not just going one way or the other.
What if
Yeah.
what if we already have those guys, bro, and on the team already, and we just shooting for something that we know the league is might give us, whether we finish in the bottom 5 or whether we finish under 20 wins or whether we finish in the play-in. What is the real possibility of us getting the player that we want out of this draft? Like
Listen,
I'm trying to understand here, bro. Like, is there a bigger possibility that we might have the guy that we actually want already on this team?
um, I wouldn't say the guy,
Mm,
but I would say maybe a guy or 2 guys that we already want on this team, right? And the
yeah,
possibility of getting to the plane, it might be possible depending on how the team. What up, Saint? How the team playing? You know what I'm saying? You want to pull up, Saint? I can send you the link. You know what I'm saying? Let me know. How the team playing? Because like you said, I'm saying like they got players who's played together before, and adding guys like Terrence Mann and even Highsmith. You know what I'm saying? In this system, don't know how they're gonna work out, but is a people. Some people think that we can make the play, and the possibility of getting the guy that we want in the draft is it's not high. You know what I'm saying? 2 years in a row, the team that made the last spot in the play and got the first pick, right? Something like that, right? So that's a little bit of luck, and it's a low percentage. It's like 1%.
Is it really a little bit of luck,
Yeah,
is
no,
it really really
no,
luck, or are we looking at a pattern here?
no. It looks like a pattern. All right. It looks like a pattern because, first everybody say it was a weak draft Atlanta. And then you've seen Dallas do the same exact thing back to back. So I think part of it is a pattern.
Are we looking at a pattern here?
Yeah. I think part of it is a pattern because it seems like the it depends on where you land at, the number in the draft. Like say Philly. Like Philly was at where were we at? 5? Philly was
Philly
at
was
4.
at 5. We were at
Yeah.
6.
Oh, we was at 6, right? We was at 6. So at 5, they went to 3, and we went back. You know what I'm saying? We went down. So I think it all depends. In Atlanta was at whatever number they was at, and Dallas was whatever number they was at, and they went way up. You know what I'm saying? With 1%. So it seems like just the number you land at makes the difference. I don't think it's the wins and losses. I think it's actually the number 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? Those numbers move down and the other numbers move up or down. You know what I'm saying? So I think
Right,
it's all depending on the number you land at, not necessarily just tanking,
right.
even
And
though
the
you
most
guarantee the top 5, but it's the number that you land on. You know what I'm saying?
right, Ice. And the most guaranteed thing the Nets can do if they are the worst team in the league is you're guaranteed top 5. You're guaranteed the 5th pick, and which is not totally horrible because Ice, you and I are looking at this draft. They're at least after the 4. There are at least a guy or two that could be potential top 3 lottery pick in this draft, but because it's so deep at the top, we might get lucky. I mean, Tunde Yasufu, that guy might be a breakout star that's not getting the attention he should be getting right now. And there's another guy too.
And maybe we
There's
got the
another
guy.
guy too out there
Maybe
that
we
might be
got the guy
really good
already,
too.
bro. It's just that a lot of our fan base don't like the wait.
Right.
Well, Leaf. A lot of people think it was Cam Thomas, but the organization, the NBA, don't see it that way. I understand why they don't. So, and then
It's
MPJ is
one
MPJ
third
might
of
be in
our fan base thought it was
semi-retirement.
Cam Thomas. 1/3 of
Uh,
our fan base thought it was Cam Thomas.
I mean, we know
And
it would
I
be
and I
bought up by
understand
Ray
that might be
Dolly.
a lot, bro, but 1/3 of it thought it was Cam Thomas. They think Cam Thomas is Kyrie on the Celtics.
Yeah,
That's what
but
they think.
But that's just what I'm trying to say to you. It's not Cam, and then MPJ might be semi-retired. So realistically, after that, it's who you drafted, whether that's Yegor, Nolan, or Wolf. Which one of those three guys can be your second or third best guy? It's still up for debate because we got to see how they perform the first year. After that first year, we'll get a grasp if either one of them is ready for that mantle. So at least be the second or third guy, no worse. And then you get the number one guy in next year's draft, or you go at it in free agency or trade market. That's, I think, where the Nets are right now. But right now, we don't have that guy. And I agree with you, Leaf, though, that maybe we should look internally a bit more and hope that that guy comes from this. But realistically, this is such an unbalanced roster because we have so many guards. Our front court is wobbly. Like, we really just got to see how the Flatbush Five do this first year, and then we'll get a grasp, especially where we are lottery odds wise in next year's draft, to see which one of those guys fits what we're trying to build right now. Because that top five looks really good to want to be a part of. And for the Brooklyn Nets, if you're not a part of that top five, this has been an utter failure of giving those giving those Rockets those picks away because we pretty much
Well,
did not make do on what we said we were going to do, which was secure back-to-back top picks. Like, you need to do that this year. There's no
I
just
don't
winning for pride. It's being strategic this year. That's what this year is about, being strategic. They got
I'm
to be
a,
strategic this year.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I don't think like the plan about quote unquote being getting two top picks, two drafts in a row. It came out of nowhere, bro, with the Mikal deal. Because if you do that deal 100 times, Mikal don't go to no for no fuck for no damn five number ones. He doesn't. Like let's just be honest about it. This was something that fell into Sean Mark's lap. We understand that, bro. Like, but we also understand a development process has happened before here, while Sean Marks got here back in 2016. Now, whether you want to say that was because of him or was it because of Kenny Atkinson, bro, who knows? All I know is, bro, like, can we really differentiate, bro, a 2016 version of Kenny Atkinson from today's version of Jordy Fernandez? We can't. My thing is that, bro, the number one, the number two, the number three, even the number three option might be on this team already. It's just that like 1/3 of our fan base don't want to wait. That's all it is. They don't feel like waiting. They want to get AJ DeBonsa is better than players now on this team. Look at what he's doing. Look at what he can do. Look at his wingspan. Look at his jumping ability. Look at this. Look at that, bro. Like, well, can we focus on who can actually who can actually play ball?
It's not
Can we
just
can
the
we
base leaf. It's Sean Marks. In the interview on Yes and the podcast that he was on, he said twice that, listen, we may be taking a few ideas from OKC, Pacers, other teams, but at the end of the day, our market is way different from those teams. He keeps using the market because of the money. That will always be Sean Marks' biggest weapon that he has, is the money aspect of this. And he said we're going to attract stars again. So it's not the base that's just trying to be unhappy, want this thing to be quick, quick, quick. It's Marks is basically saying we could amp up this rebuild part, because I think in his mind, drafting international guys, he thinks it won't take as long for international guys to become acclimated with the grind of the NBA as opposed to American guys, which is a theory. That's a theory that could be true, it could be not true. But at the end of the day, you don't want to rush it just to rush it. You need a good depth of core around your top guys. And Marks' problem has always been the bench has never been as balanced as it should be. So this is the time to really get that aspect right before you go after the big shark. I do agree with you, Leaf, that we do need to look a little bit internally this year, deeply internally, into who can break out from this group. But you really have to pay attention to who is rising above the pack and who's just being a supportive cast member. That is going to be the inclination of if there is a guy on this team right now, Leaf. But the odds
true?
of that happening are not super high right now, but they could be there. I'll give you that. They could be there. But they're not super
But
high.
yeah. The odds of that happening is just as great as our odds of getting a top three or top five pick in this draft.
Very true. Very true. You're not wrong for that. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, right now we need to focus on what could be as of what's on our team right now, as opposed to just playing 2K and simulating a year. Let's go get AJ DeBonsa, bro, because we can be trash because we got the youngest roster in the league. Because guess what? The youngest a team just as young, not as young, but just as young, just won an NBA championship. Did they not?
Well, they did.
Yeah.
6 years.
6
Okay
years.
then.
It took some time.
So I mean, like, I don't really see the whole thing about rushing to the Bonsa or Cambuza or a top five dude, bro, like, or whoever else is in this draft. I'm not paying attention to it no more because how often does five first round picks come? We made history.
Right.
We made history by doing that. Now let's bank on that. Now let's bank on the history by actually developing what no other team has done, and that's drafting in the 5 times in the first round. Let's go forward with that. Let's do the homework, do the work, and continue on from there. That's all I'm
Another,
saying, bro. Now whether it's Jaeger, whether it's Danny Wolf, or whether it's Drake Powell, or even Nolan Trey bro, let's make sure we see it through.
Yeah,
no,
nah.
I agree with you on that.
So you gotta like right now, that's what we're doing, Leaf, right now. But at the same time, you gotta look forward at the same time. Even
Yep,
though you're looking
yep.
right now, you gotta look forward. Like, all right, just to say, just for talking purposes, say MPJ still they like MPJ better than they like Cam Johnson, right? You already know he can be a solid 3 or 4, right? Say Ben Saraf turns out and he's coming up and he can be a solid 3 or 2, right? You still need that. You still need your one. So in all this we doing right now is trying to figure that out. So you are focusing on now, but you also looking forward to see, damn, if I happen to land on Tunde, if I happen to land on Nate, if I happen to land on AJ or Kareem Lopez or Cam Boozer, right? What would I need from them with the pieces I got now? Now I can start picking things apart. You know what I'm saying? I can start moving other players because you know what's working. You see your formula. Like, what could I add to this team that's in that draft? Because in that draft is wings. It's a little bit of point guards and wings. AJ,
Right.
the first 3 is 6'9". You know what I'm saying? And
Same.
Nate is 6'10" or 6'11". So I would say like the first 4 is 6'9" to 6'11", bro. You know what
Insane.
I'm saying?
Lo-
Like,
lo- logic, logically, and I'm driving right now back and forth to work. Logically, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Logically, the way that if the way that the potential could go in terms of increase, logically, AJ DeBonsa is probably the best fit for this roster. Logically, the
Him or
reason why I
Boozer?
say I say DeBonsa more than Boozer. Here's why.
Hmm.
DeBonsa, in terms of like in the open court, bro. Like, not saying that Cam Boozer can't score in the open court and things like that, but obviously AJ DeBonsa is the better athlete,
Hmm.
and you already got passers in this past draft alone, and guys, bro, the skill set that we got in this draft we didn't have before on last year's roster. We was talking about point guards and we was talking about guys that could thread the
Right.
needle. Danny Wolf, Jaeger, Nolan Trayor. Can't they do that?
yeah, they all can run. They all can do that in different ways. Yeah,
Yeah.
they
So
all can
so
do that.
so my so my thing is bro, you just got to pair young athletes and young rim runners around them. AJ DeMonster seemed like the best fit, bro. Like my scenario in a scenario that it can or can't come true. I'm just thinking out loud because that's what I do, bro. I just think out loud and shit happen and shit don't. We like it's a possibility that we could Danny Wolf or Jaeger Demen could make a first team all rookie both and we get to from the 7th to 10th spot in the East and we fuck around and get AJ DeBonson in this draft and just add to that shit.
That's very interesting.
AJ DeBonson, just hypothetically thinking. But at the
No,
same
this
time, bro, it is potential number ones on this roster, whether people believe it or not.
we definitely have to try to see that. But I would say this: there's a shot that the Nets had the second best odds in next year's lottery that we could still get the Bonsa because I'm hearing a lot about Darren Peterson that this guy's getting Kobe Bryant-esque treatment, and I think his scoring skill set is ridiculous. He's one of the best scoring guards we've seen in a while. So if the Bonsa is actually going to get chosen second, and we have the second odds, that would be insane for the Brooklyn Nets. Like coming in first does matter to a certain degree, but if you get the second or third pick, getting a DeBoster or Boozer is not horrible whatsoever because we each have a reason for wanting those guys on the team. I definitely think getting a wing in next year's draft is paramount because you already have all the guards on this team. Getting a wing is super crucial for the Nets, and there are definitely some great wings. Ahmad, Tunde Yasafu, Boozer, and Dabasa. That's four potential elite wings in this draft. If we get our hands on one of them, ooh, the Brooklyn Nets could start cooking next summer with free agency and getting some established vets on this team. They could really see what this team is made of. But just like what Leaf is saying, we do have to look deeply in these 82 games internally to see if there is a guy or two that can be in our top four as far as what we're trying to look for potentially. But we just got to see it. I just don't know if the bar is there yet at the moment, though, Leaf. Because we have so many guys on the team right now. So hopefully by the beginning of the season, we round down this roster and these guys don't feel pressured to have to survive to stay on this team. They actually know they're going to be on this team and have to work to prove that they're going to be on this team long term. That's what we have to get to right now. We're not there yet.
Facts. I see Notorious just pulled up. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna run it back just a little bit. We are hour in, so I'm gonna just run back real quick for you and catch you up. Kobe Lufkin, it was stated in Brian Lewis' article that the Nets coach, scouting team and Juwan Howard actually wanted Kobe. So they wanted Kobe before when he got drafted, and that's how they got him now with Juwan Howard actually saying that, you know what I'm saying, let's get him on the team. Now, we talked about Ben Saraf. I don't know if you heard about Ben Saraf out here showing out in training camp, you know what I'm saying, and being one of the standout guys so far. So I'm gonna let you just speak on that, you know what I'm saying, and then catch you back up to 26 draft. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, yeah. Kobe was he played for Juwan Howard in college, so Jordy said that was really Juwan Howard's move, that he wanted Kobe on this team. So I guess he knows the young man, and I guess he think there's something there. Hopefully it works out for us. As far as Ben Saraf, man, I mean, I don't know, man. I just all the flip flop stuff, because I remember after the Ben didn't play that good in the summer league. Everybody was talking about he wasn't an NBA player. He's trash. He's this. Now everybody want to hop on the Ben Raw train now.
Right.
Like, come on, man. Like,
Right.
Nets fans are so fucking fickle. It's ridiculous, bro. Like, come on. Y'all was just bashing this dude, saying he was probably the worst pick we had, saying he wasn't an NBA player. And now that MPJ and other players on the team have come out and say Ben has really impressed them in training camp. And now the word is out, like he's been showing now that everybody's on the Ben Saraf hype train. Like, give me a break, man.
We have found our new tank commander. His name is Ben Saraf.
Well, I'm gonna say this, man. I'm gonna say this though. I ain't even. This may not be the popular opinion, but I'm not even looking towards next draft until I see what we got with these guys, bro. I want to see what we got. Let's get through this year. Let's see what we got with this bunch, and then as time progresses, we can start looking towards that. The year ain't even start yet. We don't even know what we got with this young bunch yet, man.
See, and that's what Leaf just said. But I told him, right? We don't know that, and that's why we got to pay attention this year. But at the same time, right? At the same time, you gotta know what's in the other draft. You gotta know what's going on with the other fellas. But
I feel that. I feel you always got to stay 2-3 steps ahead, and you always got to know who's coming out, and you always got to stay ahead of the curve. But in another sense, I think a lot of fans ain't even really giving these guys a chance before they even start, and they're already looking towards the next draft. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of people feel like we don't got nobody who's going to pan out. So it's like, yo, based off of the picks we got, a lot of people wasn't happy with the picks we got. So, I mean, it's like, yo, they're not even giving these guys a chance to see how they're going to pan out. You know what I mean? Before we start looking into the next draft. I mean, I get it. You're supposed to stay ahead of the power curve, and you're supposed to be consistently recruiting and looking to the future.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, let these guys let these guys get through the season before we start writing them off.
Right. And I'm laughing, bro, because that's exactly where we was at. But you know, I do want to see what everybody else is doing right now. And like Ben, like you said, like I didn't like him as a pick. I wouldn't have picked him, but I knew he could hoop. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a problem with his hoop, but I just didn't like his style of play. But I knew he can get bucket. I know he could hoop. You know what I'm saying? And like you saying now that the word is out that Ben is like, you know what I'm saying? Ben is legit to everybody in camp right now. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I ain't saying nobody legit because we got a long way to go, bro. Like,
You
come
know what I'm
on,
saying?
man.
Not that he legit.
Everybody basing shit off of summer league and training camp.
Yeah.
Like, we ain't even start the season yet. And you know what? They say it takes at least 3 years for you to really, really get a good gauge on what you think an NBA player is going to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Before you even start to get a gauge on what you think his ceiling is or where he might, end his career. So,
right.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm just ready I'm excited. I'm personally excited. We got a lot of young guys. I'm being optimistic about it. I'm excited for the journey with them to see them grow and develop. That's what I'm excited about. I know we're not going to be probably winning a lot of games, but you know what? I'm excited for the journey, man.
Yeah. So before you came on, that's what we was talking about too, as well as Ben. But did you hear that Jordy said all three of the point guards are going to get thrown into the fire? Saraf, Yegor, and Trayor. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I believe it. And you know what, Sean Marks, that interview I sent you, he talked about positionless basketball. So, and how they want to play that. And that's why they got the 3-point guards. And you know what? A lot of them, they're going to be on the floor together. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I expect for all of our rookies to get thrown into the fire because that's the type of basketball that they want to look forward to playing is positionless basketball.
Yeah. No, that's a fact. That's a fact. I don't know if you heard this because John sent this to me on from practice in the park. He sent a clip to me about Tyson Etienne saying he think my boy Tyrese Martin is the hardest person on the team to guard, right? He said he gonna go with Tyrese. They've been through it in the G League, and like I said, and Brian Lewis or on Nest Daily talked about Tyrese Martin, said he's having a very good training camp right now. So
yeah, I did see that. I did see that on Twitter. I've been on Twitter here and there, peeping my head in, checking out stuff. But I did hear Tyrese is having a pretty good training camp. I heard that. I heard, and I also heard Ben Saraf was impressing some people as well. Those two names that I did hear.
Right. So now, me and you, when Leaf just dropped off before you came up a little while ago, me and you talked about Reese when he was first in training camp. I mean, summer league for the Nets, and now what's this? His second year for the Nets. Now I hear him come up this year, and his name is ringing bells in training camp. How you feel about that, Joey?
I mean, it's good, man. I mean, shoot, if he putting in the work and it's showing out, cool. I wasn't when I was going in on Reese last year when some of us was going back and forth.
Yeah.
I just didn't like that everybody was shitting on Keon and act like Reese couldn't do no wrong. Like they all was out there doing some good shit and they all was doing some bad shit. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of them was learning on the curve. You feel me? But I like Reese, man, and it seemed like he put in the work and he trying to stick. So I mean, hopefully it'll work out for him.
Yeah, it sounds like it is, though. It sounds like it is. You know what I mean? I'm just happy because you already know that's my guy. Reese is my guy. Reese is my guy. He can do wrong, but he's my guy. You know what I'm saying? He said,
for sure. Reese is solid though. He's solid. I mean, he's had his ups and downs last season, but I mean, he's back for a reason. So I mean, the Nets definitely want to see more of him and definitely think there's more there. So he's given the opportunity to prove that, and it seems like he's been putting the work in over the summer. So let's see if he take that jump.
Yeah, bro. I don't think Martin's gonna be gone, bro. If he doing well in training camp, I doubt he's gone, bro. Somebody else gonna take that hit. You know what I'm saying? They got other fellas on the team. Somebody gonna take a hit. I don't think it's him. I don't hope it's not him. You know what I mean? But yeah. Joe.
I think Tyrese is probably the most safest out of all the young guys. I mean, I could see Wilson, Timmy, and all those guys being gone before I see Tyrese. Like you said, I'll be surprised if Tyrese is gone. He'll
Right,
probably be he'll probably be the most surprising to me if he's let go out of all the young guys we got.
right, right. You know what I mean? That's facts. That's facts. So I was not when I was saying I was wrong about Saraf going to the G. It seems like he's staying up. So I came on live and said I was wrong about Saraf going to the G because he's doing some things impressing everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah, but
impressive.
people got to understand. I don't mean to cut you off. And Trayor said this, and I believe I said this on Breezy's podcast one time. Y'all don't understand. These kids are young, but kids like Trayor and kids like Ben, they've been playing professionally, bro.
Right, right,
They've been playing professionally in Europe. Like,
right.
and like Trayor said, like, yo, in so many words, like professional basketball players in Europe are better than college kids.
Yeah, yeah, that's a fact. How you feel? How you felt about that? Because that's what I heard that too. How you feel about that?
I 100% agree. I agree with it. I agree with it, bro. I mean, it's professional basketball for a reason. I'm not saying like Division 1 ain't solid basketball, but
Right.
you know, we think because we in America and we try to we want to look down on everybody else playing the game in other parts of the world. No, even though these guys are not in the NBA, they're still professionals. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
it's a difference.
that's true.
And these guys are playing, and these young guys like Trayor and Ben that are playing professionally at a young age, they're playing with some grown ass men who's in their probably mid-20s, late 20s, that's in Europe playing professional basketball. So
Right.
those are grown ass men they're playing against, vice versa. You know, everybody in college being what, max maybe like 20, 21, I mean 21, 22 years old. You
Yeah,
know?
and like you said, so basically what he's saying is we ahead of those college guys, right? Basically, we playing with pros already, we pros already, and they still gotta learn how to be a pro from college. You know what I'm saying? They just gotta adjust to the NBA speed and all that because it's different space and all that is different. But they are ahead of college players as far as being professional and the league that they play in. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with that too. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying for Ben that it's impressive that when I talked about Ben, I didn't want to draft him. I didn't like his style of play, but I knew he could hoop. And I thought they would send him to the G to work on his shot. But obviously, I don't know if you've seen that video, bro. That clip of him in training camp splitting the defense and making a play. I think it was to Drew Timmy. Have you seen that clip?
I think the only clip I seen was him giving a bounce pass to Dayron and him dunking. I ain't see the other one.
So there's like 5 or 6 clips out, and is a I think it started with that, and somebody might have clipped that one, but in that clip, like he's coming around from the right side. Somebody tried to trap him. He split the double team, went to the left and made the quick pass. I was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like he can break it. He can break a double team. You know how hard it is to break a double team, but he had the passes out. yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like how hard it is to split a double team when trapping, and he has the ability to do that right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, I think you know, it's going to be an adjustment for them because even though they play professionally, it's a totally different type of game in the NBA. And I think once they get, you know, comfortable and adjusted, you know, and they figure things out, um, you know what I mean? We in for some surprises, man, for sure. I
Yeah.
mean,
So
it's development, man. Everybody want fast food. Everybody wants some guy who's going to just jump off the porch and be the next superstar, but
yeah,
that ain't everybody path, man.
right.
We need to
I ain't got
stop
well,
comparing folks, man.
yeah, I ain't got too many topics, so I'm gonna run it back to Clax. You know what I'm saying? Clax, I seen on I think it was Brian Lewis as well. It might have been Nesdale or Brian Lewis saying that Clax is supposed to have a bigger role after his, you know what I'm saying, his back been hurting last year, had the epidural. Sorry for y'all in the chat. I'm running back at Joe here. Had the epidural, expect to have a bigger role. and do more. You know what I'm saying? Saying that I think they said that he feels better, his back is better or something like that, and he didn't have a great outing last year because of that. So what you think? I don't know what people expect Clax to do. I don't think he's a scorer, but what do you think that means?
I don't know. I mean, listen, Clax. I read an article. They said that the Clax hype train is losing steam, man.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so I say that to say this. I mean, what year is he in? Like, is this like his fifth year?
Something like that.
Something like that. But Clark's gonna have to show more, bro. He gonna have to show more offensively, and we've been waiting for him to get stronger. I mean, I get it. Everybody genetics is differently. Everybody was comparing him to Clowney, like, yo, Clowney got stronger, bigger, way faster than
Right,
Clax, and da da da
right,
da. But
right.
you know what I mean? But listen, man, I ain't gonna shit on Clax, man. We know the things he can do good. He's a defensive specialist. I say that, like, I want to see more out of him more offensively. Now, if is he going to be willing to want to be a part of the offense and take those shots and create for himself? Because right now, outside of a lob threat, we haven't really seen much. I mean, I've seen him take a couple bigs off the dribble, but I mean, I just hope he shows more offensively, man. I want him to be more offensively polished. I mean, he's been around for a little bit, and I felt like he hasn't really taken a leap offensively. And it would be nice to see him do that this year.
Right, right. It would be. You know what I mean? Like that's. I hope so because I don't know what that means either. Like I don't know. You gonna get like 2 more points? He gonna average 14 or something, 14 and 10. Like I don't know what that means. Like maybe ball in his hand more. Maybe you know what I'm saying. Have him at the free throw line doing something, starting from there. I don't know what that means for Clax. You know what I'm saying? Going forward, but it's interesting to see that they saying he gonna have a bigger role and PJ gonna have a different role. You know what I'm saying? Looking forward for him scoring. Like there's a lot of unknown on this team, and like we just talked about before you came on, the wins. Like some people, Leaf asked, is it beneficial to make it to the play-in? And some people think this team could make it to the play-in. Joey, like, what you think? You there, Joey? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I don't know what y'all think in the chat. Y'all think this team can make it to the play-in?
Oh, my bad.
There
I
you
was
go.
on mute.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say no, bro, and only because this is a very, very young team. Um, a lot of these guys ain't, this is gonna be their first year playing with each other, and a lot of these rookies and these young guys gonna be getting adjusted to the NBA. I don't see it. I don't see them making a play in, me personally.
yeah. I didn't think so either. I said 22 wins. You know what I mean? Brian earlier said 21 or 24.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I say between 22 and 25. 22, 25 wins. I mean, I don't know. I just can't see the playing thing. I think that's kind of far fetched. I mean, crazy things have happened, but
Right.
you got all these rookies on this team, and still trying to, you're gonna have to be learning the league, gonna have to learn how to still learn they role, and the first time playing together. I mean, Jordy's a great coach, but he's still, a young coach, and it's going. Yeah, I don't see it, man.
Yeah, I don't see it either, bro. I don't see it. But other people do. I even heard Jeff Teague say it. Sleeper team is the Nets, and I'm like, how? You know what I'm saying? Am I missing something watching these games, or is he missing something? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see how we sleep a team. I know we got, like I told Leaf, we got decent players on here. Terrence Mann, MPJ. You know what I'm saying? Like Plax, uh, Clowney, Zaire. They're decent players. Cam's still here. Decent players. But playing team, I don't see it, bro. I don't see it either.
Yeah, we also seen it when we had more help last year, and we had a lot of more veteran guys, and even when we had more veteran guys, we didn't have anybody to really close. the Nets would hang tough with a lot of teams, and then when they get, in the fourth quarter or late in the fourth quarter, they couldn't close out games. So,
Right.
and I really don't see no closer on this team like that. I mean, we got a
Besides
couple
Cam.
decent, yeah. I mean, we got a couple decent pieces like Cam and MPJ
Yeah,
and Terrence Mann, but I don't know.
right.
We'll see.
When you start going down the list, it goes short. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Cam,
Yep.
MPJ, Terrence Mann, and you like, damn, like who, like yo, who else? Who else? I know Clowney gonna score sometimes. You know what I mean? He not going because he gonna shoot the three. I don't know if he's gonna drive that much. I know he said he was gonna try to get to the basket a lot more this season. You know what I'm saying? Put the ball on the floor. Zaire gonna score on and off. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's no
Let's keep it a buck, bro. When you look
no.
at this roster, it's probably like two in a possible that can really like get their own shot.
Pretty
You
much.
got
Pretty
you,
much.
you got Cam, you got MPJ,
Uh-huh.
and then Terrence Mann as a possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I like Zaire, but is Zaire really going to will you to victory in the fourth quarter? Like
Nah.
he's
But he
more of a
gonna
3-and-D like role player, play solid defense, point of
yeah,
attack defender, and shoot his open shots.
yeah.
Right. And
That's it.
at the end
Go ahead, John.
And at the end of the day, I said it early on your show, Ice, our offensive system really is tied into how MPJ and Cam does. And the thing is, MPJ's back now, something seriously monitored. He said that he takes this now year by year, the preparation he has to do. He's probably not playing at all any of these back-to-backs this year. He's definitely going to have to be managed. And then Cam Thomas, the month of November is huge for him, but December 15, that's when anybody who signed a contract to free agency this summer, they're trade eligible. So if you move Cam off the board, MPJ and injury comes up, this offense crashes and burns pretty quickly, which sets you up really well for a lottery pick. So it really depends on those two guys' health, though. And Claude just said, how many of these guys are going to be healthy? Listen, health is going to be huge for a lot of these guys this year, especially guys that want to stay in the NBA and want to prove something, especially for our rookies. But you definitely have to manage some ebbs and flows here because injuries are going really crazy right now in the NBA. Before we even play a single preseason game, their bodies dropping right now in the NBA. So, like, for the Nets, I think that actually works to the Nets' advantage because there will be teams calling us about Haywood, about Cam, maybe about Claxton. So, even if this team does well the first month and a half, I would not be surprised as soon as December hits that a guy or two just gets flipped right away because it won't align with our lottery pick goals. So I just feel like that's the way it's set up for the Nets. But like Joey just said, the options are slim pickings on this team. And you
I
remove
forgot.
those
I
slim
forgot
pickings
about
away,
Kobe though.
you got nothing.
JT Libidity. Yeah, I think Kobe could do some things too. I think he could get his own for
Yeah,
sure.
nah. They was talking about in the article I read that they thought he could be an actual contributor to the Nets. That he has the scoring ability to do so, and that's why they think he's like a steal or sleeper pickup for the Nets. You know what I mean? And it's possible for him to do that. I wouldn't sleep on him either, but I don't know where he's going to end up on the team. It was saying in an article, another article, that he will be backup for Yegor being the second point guard off the bench. You know what I mean? But I don't know how that's going to go with Jordy because now he's running all, you know what I'm saying, all the rookies, and I don't know what he's going to do with Kobe. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's not
Man,
all
I
the
think
rookies.
everything is just gonna go by a performative basis, man, with a lot of these young guys. And that's how they looking at it, and that's how they going to go. That's how they going to tell going forward who's going to be a future net and who ain't. I mean, this whole fucking year is just going to be a big ass fucking. This whole shit is just a big ass tryout experiment, bro.
Shit, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That
So
definitely is.
You know what I mean? Like I ain't got too many topics. I think I'm yo. I think did you go to practice in the park? Oh, you in VA
nah,
Joe?
I ain't go. I looked at the little pictures and stuff, man. If I was back home, I would have went, but nah, I didn't go. I think Breezy and Jay and them went though.
Yeah,
And
they did.
Scott went too. Scott went as well. And
Yeah, I see.
Jamal.
Yeah, I seen the picture with him and Scott up there. You know what I mean? I ain't go. I'm in Maryland, so you know what I'm saying. Anybody in the chat went to practice in the park today? Let me know something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah,
And Ice,
yo,
as far as like a little more topic to talk about, yeah, this preseason is going to be big for some of these guys because you do have to cut the roster down to 15. And there are four guys whose names we've mentioned multiple times: Wilson, Whitehead, Martin, and Drew, Timmy, those four guys are going to have to be very impressive in these four preseason games. Preseason games are usually very meaningless, but for these guys, it's crucial. Like their minutes they play in preseason games will have a huge impact on if they make the roster or not. So these next 2 to 3 weeks are going to be so important to see those guys if they can hold down a role or not, because they are definitely fighting for their Brooklyn Nets lives, Hunger Games style, to prove that they should be on this team. So that's going to be an interesting little topic before we really have to bunch the roster down just to make opening night. So that's definitely going to be very interesting. And I hope these guys do earn it, but they're definitely in direct competition with some of these other guys, like with Buffkin and Whitehead. And it'll be interesting to see who rises from the pack, because we are looking for the next Brooklyn Net. And that really has to mean something this year for these guys.
Right. That's right. Hold on that thought. Javon,
I just want to say, when I'm looking, to
go ahead,
me,
Joey, go ahead.
I don't know. Like, I know certain fans have different expectations. So I think it's a success if we can get maybe a 3 or 4 of these guys, to become high level role players and build a core. To me, that's a success. That'd be dope. I know some people is like, yo, we looking for the next star. If you ain't hit on a star, you pretty much fail. You know what I mean? And I don't look at it that way, because I feel like we need everything, bro. I feel like if we could at least get some positives from this group and get at least 2, 3 solid role players and core pieces, I think that's a win. I don't think necessarily you got to hit on a star for it to be a win draft. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think so either, because a good player is a good player. I mean, wherever they drafted at, it don't even, the number really, it matters and it doesn't matter. Because I think once once you're in the top four, you can possibly get a superstar. But once you get down past that, like anything's possible. You can get a star player, you can get a role player, you can get anything out. If you get anything out of that, you good. And who asked me? Javon, I am from Gaithersburg. I'm from Gaithersburg, Maryland. You know what I'm saying? Montgomery County.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Because
But that's where I'm at.
Because if we get a couple of these guys that pan out as high level role players, shit, that's something. I mean, you keep improving around the edges. You can still go. You can still try to draft your guy, or you could go out in free agency and get your guy and have him play with the core. You know what I mean? That young core that you got. So right now we don't have anything, and for us just to at least get a core, that would be. I think that's a success, because then you have some kind of direction. You're like, okay, I got these guys right here. This is what I got to work with. These are the guys that I know I can build with going forward. And I know what I need, and I can build around that. Or I know what's missing, and I can go out and get it, whether it be in free agency or whether it be right back in the draft. So I don't think necessarily not hitting on a star is a failure. Like if you get, like I said, you get 3 to 4, maybe 2 to 4 high level role players. I think that's a success, me personally.
No, you're not wrong for that, Joey. At the end of the day, building a core, that's the first path towards sustainable success. Marks has preached that for 10 years, hasn't hit it. It starts with a core. You will not be a legit team without a core. And me and Jay said this on different shows, Breezy and Scott's, that it's going to take a mix of development and going out there getting another star or great depth. Like you need a great bench depth if you want to have a deep playoff run. And financially, you need at least 2 to 3 guys that you're paying a lot of money to, and the other guys got to be good supportive players. So it's like for the Nets, we are really trying to find that right now. And if this Flatbush 5, 3 out of 5 of them, 4 or 5 would be great, could hit that mark, and then your guy next year, this draft can hit that mark. We are really cooking in a very weak East right now. Like it could come together for the Nets in the next 2-3 years really quickly if you have all those right pieces. And if this Flatbush 5 can have that mentality, that grit this year, it's going to be a tough year, and they get through it very well. Then whoever you get next year, it's going to build on that. And then right after next year's draft, John Marks is thinking about hitting the go button and winning veteran pieces before even getting a start piece, which I'm totally fine with. Then you start winning at the right temperature, which is building the right winning habits, having the right culture, having all the pieces you need, and then you can take off from there. I mean, this East is the weakest East it's ever been in the 21st century, and that gives you a window, even in a bad situation like this rebuild right now, to really put it all together rather quickly if the pieces fall where they may. But I thought Leaf put an interesting point tonight. For these 82 games, We got to look internally to see if there's one or two or three guys that could fit our top five potentially based on who we draft next year and who we get in free agency. Like, if that works out for the Nets, then we're already ahead of the curve. But this year, it's going to be adventure just to see who really can break out from the pack and solidify a certain roles on this team. That's the big test. So I agree with you, Joey. It'll be interesting to see who does rise up and hit that barometer.
Yeah, see what the cream is going to rise to the top. So that's how the saying goes.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way to find out is, have the season play out. So, but like I said, once you figure that out, I mean, we do got a couple of, I would say if you want to say Dayron and Zaire, you could say those are decent,
Yeah.
bench players or something
Yeah.
like that. But when I'm talking about core, I'm talking about guys who's going to be like, and I'm not saying they're not high level role players, but I'm talking about starters, like
Yeah.
guys that's starter material. They may not be stars, but they can at least start in this league and play at a high level.
Yeah, no, that's facts. That's facts. If you're starting, you got to play at a high level. We got a couple guys who can do that. You know what I'm saying? Who can do that? And that's why this roster is funny. You know what I mean? Because we don't know what we really got until they keep a couple guys for. You know what I'm saying? Because I think, like I said, I think after, I think our rebuild is basically done as far as young talent, real young talent. Right, but I still think like next year is when it's like really over, and then you start building, you start shaping.
Right.
Exactly. I agree.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think the Nets are just waiting to see or have some type of idea what they got with these young guys that they're going to put out on the court, especially the guys that they drafted. And I think they'll improve around the edges. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, they'll go out and draft somebody like who would complement the pieces that we drafted this year.
Right.
So,
Right.
We'll see.
And there are stars that are on unhappy teams right now. If we look at the league round, there are a lot of teams up against that cap apron that are trying to compete, but they're not winning whatsoever. And in this new CBA, you either win or you lose. And if you have a window to win, you got to take every advantage of those lifelines. Because if you don't, you're basically paying all these guys money for nothing, and you're losing even more so than you were in the previous eras. So I think those stars that are unhappy situations right now, they're looking at a team like Brooklyn, which is a blank canvas to really see how the guys you draft this year and the guy you draft next year, how they will play well together. If they feel like, hey, one or two of those guys could be my second or third options, I'm ready to sign on the dotted line and come to Brooklyn and really make us a franchise to be respectable again. Like, it could come together just like that. The only thing with Sean Marks is you got to prioritize these guys getting actual development and mixing in a star if that's the route you want to go. But you can't just rely just on the stars and these guys become expendable pieces. It's got to be a mix, just like what OKC, just like some of these other teams are trying to do. You do not want to put all your chips on three dudes like the Suns did and crash and burn like the 76ers did, and they don't even know if their guys are going to play because the doctors don't say they're going to play. Like, we do not need to be in either of those situations right now. We got to do this right.
It got to make sense. We can't just go out and just be like, yo, get a star for the sake of getting a star. You feel what I'm
Right, not
saying?
to sell tickets. Like, you want to win. It has to be at a
like
winning
you
scenario.
want to make sure that the star that you get is complementing the young core that you have, and you want to also want to make sure that the young core is actually ready. And I'm gonna go back to OKC. When did OKC really start making splashes in free agency? Once they had that big year and they fucking shot up in the standings in the West, and then they went to the playoffs and lost. And then I think that's when it clicked. And Presti's head, like, yeah, they ready.
Right.
They ready. We just need a couple of more tweaks. You know what I mean? We need to go out and get a Isaiah Hartenstein. We need to go out and get what's his name? Caruso. You know what I mean? They was like, yeah, we got the young guys. Let's go out and get some solid role players who gonna fit some of the weaknesses that we have, and we gonna rock and roll. Like, you gotta also know the timeline, man. You gotta know the timeline. You gotta know fitment. You know what I mean? Because you can't just be bringing a star here just to bring a star here if your team if the rest of the team is not ready to compete for a
No,
championship.
I agree with you. And the interesting thing about next summer, the Nets don't necessarily have to just go after a star. There are definitely going to be veteran potential upgrade bench pieces that want those roles, just like Rockets did with Fred VanVleet. Look how impactful he's been in the last 3 years to help them get Kevin Durant to their team. Like if the Nets can find that ultra vet guy out there that can help not only rebuild the culture but play well with these young guys, then you could potentially be a star or a few more veteran piece away if you hit really well on next year's draft. Like it could click just like that for the Brooklyn Nets, but they definitely have to get the timing right. I just think their window to contend again starts after next summer because you don't have control of your own pick in 2027. And then the other picks you have are other teams' picks, the Knicks pick, the 76ers pick, and then the Nuggets pick. Like those are valuable picks that other teams might want if their stars are in a happy situation. They want to come to Brooklyn. So it's just Sean, I know he's navigating right now, looking at different teams or situations. Whoever you go after, it has to be the right decision. A guy that's committed to being in Brooklyn for more than just a year to sell tickets and then say, I'm out, deuces. No, this cannot happen this time. Prioritize the development, but get a star if you want to that complements what we're trying to build right now. I think Jordy is the right coach. He's getting a lot of respect from a lot of different people, especially players who are looking at what he's doing with these young crop of guys. If these young crop of guys surpass expectations the next 2 years, there's definitely going to be a star to that saying, hey, I want to make history in Brooklyn and become the first ever one to say, I got Brooklyn's first ever championship. That's the biggest appeal of the Brooklyn Nets. Whoever does help us ultimately win that goal will be the first ever championship in Brooklyn Nets history. And the first is always the most special. And I always think that's so appealing to stars that want to come here is that nobody's done it yet in Brooklyn. And if you could hit right with the development aspect of this, it makes it even more special. But this organization has to prove more than just what they say. You got to get the mix right. You can't just say, oh, culture, 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 sustainable success. It has to mean something. Because if you just keep dishing out these new cores every year, it's not going to mean a damn thing. So hopefully this is the start of a core being built because you need it, or else you'll never be a serious team in the NBA. You'll be the Chicago Bulls or the Sacramento Kings right now, just putting pieces together for no reason, hoping it works.
Like I say, man, just keep developing and keep. Hey, worst case scenario, you get a core, and don't just go out and get a star just to get a star. Make sure you got a core. Make sure that core is ready to compete. Make sure that star fits with the core. Make sure that star is here to be in Brooklyn to win and compete, not just to be in New York. You know what I mean? And get a check.
Right.
So there's a lot of boxes that got to be checked off because, like, yeah, I want him to bring a star here, but I don't want him to bring a star here just for the sake of saying we got a star. You know what I mean? It has to make sense. Like John says, the mix has to be right. The timing has to be right. You got to get the right star. And you know what? I'm cool with just, I mean, it may not sound cool. I'm cool with us just developing and working on our core and continue to draft until draft and hopefully hoping to get our star. If not, I'd rather go that route than to just bring a guy here just for the sake of bringing him here and the team is not ready to compete.
Most definitely.
So I'm cool with bringing a star here, but it has to be right. It has to be the right time and the right star and the right
Definitely
mix.
agree. And next summer could be a huge summer. I thought this was the most important summer. Next year could be the biggest summer in Brooklyn Nets history. It's based on the lottery, how these guys do, and what is Sean Marks' ideas right now. Because he's hinting that there's a go button about to be pressed very soon. He's probably looking at the NBA landscape, and there are definitely some big players that could be on the move essentially in the future. And I really hope these young guys we have take that as, you know what, it's about us right now. If somebody wants to come to this team, they're going to want to work with us, not we work with them. They're going to want to work with us. And that's the mentality I want these 5'5" to embody. Don't act like you need the star to come save your ass. Act like you want to be the ones to help elevate that star if there is one that's coming. I think that's what the narrative needs to change. As much as I do want to star here, I want these young guys to shine as well because it's going to take that perfect mix. I don't think we're going to become the youngest team like OKC to win a title, but I think we could take a lot of things from teams like them, Pacers, and those other teams, and try to combine it to make something even better. It's just the organization. It really comes down to their decision making. Sean and Joe's decisions this year into next summer are really going to define where we are going to be the next 4 to 5 years. And I hope they finally have a wake-up call because the base, it wants results. We don't just want words anymore. We want the results eventually to mean something and be sustainable. You can't just keep saying the word sustainable. We got to see it become sustainable. And that's what the key is going forward.
That's a fact. Like I always say, there's only two ways to really get a start. Either you're going to draft one or you're going to bring one here in free agency. And you know what? The draft way that's a gamble. At least when you get a guy in free agency, you know what he is. Like he's a star in the league. You know what I mean? You get a young stud in the draft, you're like, yeah, he has a high possibility of being a star, but he could also be a bust. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I mean, it's multiple ways to go around doing this thing. Nothing is guaranteed. We just gotta look at it based off what our situation is at the time. You know what I mean, and take it from there. What's the best route for the team?
Yeah, facts. And that's what we want. We want to see the best route. John, you're right. This has been the most boring summer ever. Even on TikTok, or people that pull up on my live and saying like, yo, the lives have been dry. There's nothing to talk about. Ain't nothing going on. Like, yo, this is killing us out here right now with no basketball, bro. Like, the NBA is back.
Yo, what's up with the Kaminga? That shit looking ugly over there.
Yo, he has till Wednesday to decide on that. And the crazy thing is tomorrow they got to go to Abu Dhabi. So if he ain't on the flight and he's not signing a qualifying offer, we're entering uncharted territories in restricted free agency, like to the max. Like this is what we worry about with Cam Thomas. But the Kaminga situation, is he really going to leave $70 million on the table? This is going to be an insane precedent if that's what Kaminga does. I'm glad we're not a part of that situation, but I think the Kings right now are trying to hope that he gets a trade to them because they're the only team that really wants him at this point. But man, if Kaminga leaves $70 million on the table or takes a qualifying offer, man, it sucks to be a Warrior right now. It really does because that Curry era is almost at its end, and losing your only athletic real player on that team not going to help you whatsoever in a crazy West. That's a crazy situation, though.
Right. I don't know if you've seen. I'm gonna close out soon. That Jimmy Butler and Draymond was rushing the Warriors to get that deal done, figure it out so they can, because they made no offseason. He's actually holding up their offseason moves. They have got nobody on that team yet. Steph Curry is supposed to. They want to sign Steph Curry. They want to sign Al Horford. They got other people that they want to sign, but until that gets done, they were not making no moves. You know what I'm saying? So their roster kind of short right now. You know what I mean?
Their roster looks like it's getting older. I mean, Curry and Al Horford, maybe a few years ago, I'd be jazzed for it. But, man, you lose your youngest athletic player, Kaminga. I mean, Ice, that team is going to be one of the oldest Western teams in the conference. I mean, the Clippers are the oldest team. Warriors will be right up there with them because they're losing the age number here. I mean, you got Jimmy Butler making $60 million, and he's approaching, 38, 39, something like that very soon, the next year or two. Like, they are definitely financially up against it. That's why I think the Brooklyn Nets right now, they're looking at teams right now that are, like, dealing with those cap issues, and they have a star or two that's just stuck in a bad situation and thinking, hey, if we develop that young core, that star might want to come jump ship to us. So I think really as much as we're going to be looking at our season, very closely this year, I'm looking at every other team right now in their situation. There are definitely some teams that are at their breaking point, just to drop a few bucks, 76ers, Suns. Like, there are some teams that are like, they have to make a decision like we did a year or two ago. Like, are you really going to keep trying to make an unhappy product be happy? No, you got to break that up eventually. So I think for the Nets, we're in the best spot possible as far as having flexibility. It's just we're going to have to make that decision. When is the right time to strike? And I think it's going to be in a year or two. I really do.
Also, on that note, I'm going to close out. Y'all shout y'all spots out. You know what I mean? Where the fans can find you at.
Ice, great show as always, man. We produced some great content this summer. Shout out to the Brooklyn Bays. Yeah, this has been a boring ass summer. This has been a crazy anxious summer. I never thought in a rebuild it would be this insane, but we have Sean Marks and Joe Desai as our leaders. So are we really surprised? I'm not. But yeah, listen, if a shout out to the Brooklyn content creators. We're one of the best content media teams out there. So just keep being strong, Brooklyn Nets fans. I know it don't look great right now, but seriously, in a year or two, this could really change for the Brooklyn Nets. And next summer, I think it's going to be the biggest summer in Brooklyn Nets history. I really do. And anybody wants to talk fun basketball, follow me on my Twitter, everything BKNS John, because I talk everything Brooklyn Nets basketball and a lot of other fun stuff. But shout out to you, Ice, and shout out to the Brooklyn Base. And we about to start preseason, so let's go, Brooklyn! Woo!
All right, Notorious shout out. I'm about to close out right now. Shout where you at. You know what I'm saying to the fans in the chat.
Yeah, man, my phone died, but you can catch me on X, man. At Notorious, man. Just talking Nets basketball, talking about the sorry Giants, talking about the sorry Yankees, talking about all the sorry New York franchises. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you can catch me at, man.
All right, y'all know my motto. Y'all don't have to like, y'all don't have to subscribe because I don't know anything. You heard? And we out.
Peace.